Cuba Gooding Jr.'s career has long been surrounded by controversy. While many believe his downfall was the result of his own actions, his brother Omar Gooding sees it very differently. According to Omar, Cuba became a target after speaking too openly about the entertainment industry and the powerful people behind it. Those are serious claims, but Omar insists they explain why everything changed so quickly. He believes some topics in Hollywood simply aren't meant to be discussed publicly, and anyone who crosses that line can face consequences.
Like, he would never. He did? God damn it. But that being said, again, I'm very long-windedly answering your question. Yes, I believe people get targeted. They make the mistake. It's fucking scary, man, because, it's almost like how much power do you want? How much influence do you want to have? And if it goes to your head, they'll take you out any way they can. Some people get...
For years, fans have asked the same question. How does an Oscar-winning actor go from Hollywood's brightest stars to someone whose career falls apart almost overnight? Was it just bad luck and poor decisions, or was something else happening behind the scenes? Omar believes the turning point came after Cuba upset influential people in the industry. Whether you agree with that or not, it adds another layer to a story that still divides opinion today. At the same time, Omar doesn't claim his brother was perfect. He admits Cuba always had a huge personality and loved being around people.
So this is, again, when you interview me, what you're getting is my opinion. In my opinion, yes. People say, is there such a thing as puppets? Is there such a thing as sell your soul? Is there such a thing as attack? Yes. We've seen it too many times. Now, in the instance of my brother, I'm gonna speak on it because he did an interview, and when he spoke on it, I was looking at the screen going, because I think it's a little harder to defend yourself when you're just getting attacked from so many angles. And then they did the Me Too thing where people were coming up and saying, yeah, you attacked me too, and And it's crazy because the last public back and forth that I was in, there were people chiming in that I later found out weren't even real people. Robots and bots, and you fake comments and fake accounts and all that type of shit. And it's like, damn, that's crazy. With my brother, what he was accused of blew my mind, because they accused him of inappropriate touching. And I said, what the fuck is inappropriate? Go on. And they had footage. They showed the footage, and it was him and his girlfriend, not his wife, girlfriend sitting next to him. And then some other girl comes over and his hand goes up like this and back down, and then it cut away. And then the news anchors were like, man, shocking, hard to watch. I was like, what was hard? What did we even look at? We got more footage, and he was walking through the club, and the girl that accused him was walking behind him like, hey, let me ask you another question. And it was like, what the This is news? Inappropriate touching? You know how many motherfuckers can be arrested for dancing in the 90s if inappropriate touching?
According to Omar, Cuba's energy often made him the center of attention wherever he went. After winning an Academy Award, his popularity exploded, and nightlife became a regular part of his life. Omar says that while his brother enjoyed partying, he never believed that alone made him a criminal. Even so, living under a spotlight meant every moment could be judged differently. As Cuba's fame grew, so did the attention surrounding his personal life.
So energetic and full of life that if he was to do that, it'd be a problem. But anyway, I do believe he made somebody upset. I will not say my full belief. I can get into details because I knew right while I said, And ever since that, all of a sudden, you know what I mean? And it snowballed. It was terrible. It was bad for him. I don't know how much his business is out there, but financially, everything dried up, boom, 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 houses, just everything was bad. And he had to, crawl out of it. He's still crawling out of it. You know what I mean? And he's got a lot of big stuff going now, which is good for him. Real powerful stuff. Some good connections and alliances that he's making with some people. So I'm real excited and happy for him. But he's having a rebuild, The specific incident too, and I will say a little bit about this because I'll use a little my platform, your platform, to just give a little touch on it. He was accused of several things. The inappropriate touching thing was weird. That case wound up being dropped. It was just too weird. One person said that they were in a club with him, and touched, I think, a lot of weird stuff, right? But he pled guilty to one of the accusations. And I was like, what was it? I can tell you what it was. Real quick, I'll try to be quick. He went out and tipped the waitress. The waitress got so happy with the amount he tipped her, she came back and kissed him on the cheek. And he grabbed her face and said, "You missed," and kissed her on the mouth. She said, "Oh." That was one of the accusations. That's the one that they pulled. Once they said, "Oh, wait a minute, da-da-da." He said, "Yeah, I did that." So, okay, you grabbed her without her will. That's inappropriate. I'm like, come on, yo. But that's what, so when people say, "Oh, well, he was guilty." Yeah, freaky him up. Like, he was guilty of what? That, So anyway, but again, we don't know what happens behind closed doors. We just don't. I love him. I'll vouch for his character of what I've seen, but I don't go behind.
Omar also refuses to comment on events he never witnessed firsthand, including rumors connecting Cuba to certain celebrity circles. Instead, he keeps returning to one point. In his opinion, powerful people can make life very difficult for celebrities who become too influential or challenge the wrong individuals. Whether that's true or not is up for debate, but Omar believes the pressure went far beyond ordinary criticism. He says the consequences affected not only Cuba's public image, but also his career and personal life.
It said, again, I'm very long-windedly answering your question. Yes, I believe people get targeted. They make their mistake. It's fucking scary, man, because, it's almost like, how much power do you want? How much influence do you want to have? And if it goes to your head, they'll take you out any way they can. Some people get cloned. Some people get in accidents, so you gotta watch what you do, and you gotta fly somewhere in between to make it to 105, or else, the number drops. So I hear that. My shoulder's going again. Knock it off. That's you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I know I wasn't bugging, man, because at one point they was coming at him hard, man. It looked personal.
Yeah. And when you're loved, which is really cool, man, because, people love him. And he's got that celebrity that when he can go anywhere and it's like, oh, shit, I loved you in this, I loved you in that. And that's cool. I think initially when the accusations came out, he said, "I'm gonna be quiet and let them judge me, or let the courts handle it." And I'm like, yo, I'm innocent and you accuse me of shit. I'll be on every podcast, every day I'm on my phone. Listen here, this is what happened. But he chose to be quiet, and he kind of just had to ride it out. And it's also messed up. You find out where your friends are. Everyone's like, "Oh, did such and such call? Did whoop-de-whoop hands?" He's like, "Nope, nobody even check on me." Because people, they're like, they see the attack, bro, and go, "Oh, well, don't attack me too." I can't be like, "Yeah, that's my friend. I vouch for him." "Oh yeah, well, we found out that you was." "Oh, never mind. I don't know the name. I don't know him. I don't know." It's hard to have.
By the late 1990s, Cuba Gooding Jr. had reached the top of Hollywood. His Oscar-winning performance in Jerry Maguire made him one of the industry's biggest stars, and many believed he was destined for an even greater career. But instead of continuing that rise, everything slowly began moving in the opposite direction. Winning an Oscar should have been the beginning of an even bigger chapter. Instead, Cuba's career gradually lost momentum. As his reputation grew, he became more selective about the roles he accepted. Looking back, many critics believe some of those choices didn't work in his favor. Cuba, however, has argued that the industry itself was changing and that talent alone wasn't deciding who got opportunities anymore.
How do you feel about some of the stuff that's going on in Hollywood right now?
Yeah.
I think you commented, like even the DEI stuff that they're doing and forcing some things. If you want to win an Oscar or be nominated, you have to be able to qualify for all these things, or else the movie cannot be going.
Oh, you're talking about diversity.
All that stuff. And you're a black man. I'm Middle Eastern. How do you feel about saying, well, in order for a movie to be nominated for XYZ, a third has to be this, and a third has to be that, and a third has to be this, and da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think that's crazy. I think the idea of that is crazy to implement in Hollywood because, it's almost like you say, "Hey, all right, Cube, I'm going to have you work in my house. You're going to be the gardener. I'm a pool man." And me and the pool man say, "You know what? We need more money." And you go, "You're right. I want you, from now on, here's a set of rules. But yet, but I don't need you to work today. Matter of fact, I got another gardener that's coming in." In other words, all I'm saying is you can set rules for diversity, but until we as people, minorities, get the opportunities afforded us based on our talents and exposed, and I'll bring it back to hockey, okay? people come up to me all the time, say, man, you play hockey? Black people don't know hockey. And I say to them, we invented hockey. People don't know this, but the runaway slaves went up through Nova Scotia, through up England in America into Nova Scotia. There's a book called Black Ice. And the black slaves got with the Indians, and they created black hockey leagues of the Maritimes 1895 to like 1900. And these rules that they did, and even the goalie, they had a black goalie that stacked his pads. That's how they adopted the rules of the NHL today, right? So here you're looking at the NHL is an all-white sport, but we were at the genesis of it way back in the day. You know, you think of hip-hop. It's like how many years from now, 40 years now, they're going to say, oh, man, what are you doing as a black guy? You're not a hip-hop.
As the years passed, the conversation around Cuba shifted from his performances to the allegations against him. Multiple women came forward with accusations of inappropriate behavior, turning what had once been a celebrated career into one of Hollywood's biggest controversies.
This evening involving actor Cuba Gooding Jr., who is fighting those allegations of groping a woman here in New York City. Well, tonight, here's surveillance video obtained by TMZ and what it shows. Here's ABC's Lindsay Davis again tonight.
New surveillance video captures the moment that now has actor Cuba Gooding Jr. facing 2 misdemeanor charges, accused of groping a woman in a New York bar Sunday night. TMZ obtaining this video, which allegedly shows the accuser sitting down next to Gooding and his girlfriend. Gooding appears to first put his hand on her thigh. A few seconds later, he appears to move it up near her chest. The actor is then seen pulling her hands to his lips. Another man then walks over. The Oscar-winning actor from Jerry Maguire, who also starred in The People vs. O.J. Simpson,
Everybody thinks I'm guilty.
seen here handcuffed yesterday when he entered a plea of not guilty to charges of forcible touching and third-degree abuse. His lawyer claims it was the accuser who pursued Gooding.
It was very clear and apparent that the lady who made these false charges was stalking Mr. Gooding. This lady continued to invade his private space until ultimately somebody, not Cuba, but somebody else, had to tell her to please excuse herself.
All right, Lindsay Davis back with us here tonight, and Cuba Gooding Jr. has maintained his innocence since these allegations broke.
He certainly has. He's due back in court at the end of the month. If convicted, however, he could face up to a year.
The legal battle only intensified the public scrutiny, although several allegations were eventually dismissed and the case ended with a plea involving a lesser offense. The damage to Cuba's reputation had already been done. Overnight, the headlines became bigger than his accomplishments.
Cuba Gooding Jr. has pleaded guilty to forcible touching after a years-long investigation. The Oscar award-winning actor accused of violating 3 different women at Manhattan night spots. He pleaded guilty to 1 count of touching a woman inappropriately at a nightclub in 2018. His lawyers argued that overzealous prosecutors caught up in the fervor of the Me Too movement tried to turn commonplace gestures into crimes. Gooding is also accused of raping a woman in New York City. In 2013, he's fighting that allegation.
Throughout the controversy, Cuba maintained that many people misunderstood his personality. His legal team argued that he had always been an outgoing and affectionate person, while critics believed the number of accusations couldn't simply be ignored. As public opinion shifted, Hollywood opportunities became harder to find.
Your mind that your behavior was not inappropriate.
It wasn't that it was my behavior was focused towards women. It was I was carefree in front of groups and crowds of people. If you see on that footage of me kissing the waitress, I also kissed male bartenders. I was high-fiving people going with bottle service. So yes, if that is inappropriate, then yeah.
I mean, some of the allegations that women made, and I want to make it clear, no charges were brought on these.
Right.
And I know that in Hollywood, a lot of very famous stars, they get a lot of false allegations. So I'm not presuming any of these to be true or otherwise. They were never things that led to charges. But there seemed to just be a pattern of claims. You know, a woman in 2001, he rubbed his groin and pelvis hard against her bottom. 2003, put his hand on a woman's buttocks and squeezed it when they had a picture together. Another bar in 2006, bit a woman on her shoulder twice and thrust his pelvis against her. Another woman in the Hard Rock in Las Vegas, 2007, kissed her, licked her face, grabbed her bottom, and so on. I'm not going to go through them all. And as I say, I don't know the veracity of each individual claim, but there were a lot of women who came forward who all made claims that you just behaved in a way that was inappropriate and bordering on a form of assault. Now, I'm not here to relitigate what's happened to you. You pled guilty and you've been dealt with, and you apologize for your conduct to any women that you'd offended.
Cuba has since argued that he was treated differently from other actors facing controversy. He believes the industry moved on from others while effectively shutting the door on his career, a claim that continues to divide opinion.
Mean to disrespect anyone. And I know in My Truth, and again, on the videos.
I have a problem with the phrase "my truth." I'll be honest with you.
Well, so let me,
I've always had a problem with the phrase "my truth." Because to me, as a journalist, there's the truth.
You're right. So
the facts.
Let's strike the
When people
word
start
my.
talking about my truth, it sounds a bit like Meghan Markle with Oprah Winfrey. It's like it gives you a license to say what you want, because it's what you
100%.
feel. Right?
And I totally agree, and I know your situation with Meghan Markle. I know that whole thing. So let's take the word "my" out. There's video footage of the interactions with these women that showed the truth of what happened. And it's funny. So I had so many people come up to me in the street and say, I support you, I saw the video, blah, blah, blah. But the one thing that I found that really hit me, and I said, okay, now it's time for me to mention this, to talk about it. I mean, it's basically, I started in this career loved, and people are like, oh, his energy. Nothing's changed with me, but I do have to address it for what you just said about it's not my truth, it is the truth. But this one woman commented on my social media platform. She says, thank you for pleading guilty. I may be wrong, but I think you are the first in these sort of cases to do so. That is a courageous move of integrity. I keep hoping some man with influence will demonstrate for others how to stand in accountability, make amends, learn and continue to be held in love. Truth and reconciliation begins with truth. So thank you. I hope you are weathering the storm okay, keep standing tall, and hope you will be a...
Those arguments have often been linked to comments from other celebrities who have questioned Hollywood's power structure. Comedian Cat Williams, for example, has repeatedly suggested that challenging influential people in the industry comes with serious consequences. Whether people agree with him or not, his remarks added fuel to an already controversial discussion.
Recent controversy online, I know you don't spend all your time online, about Kevin Hart wearing a dress in the SNL skit. And Dave Chappelle spoke about that. As a comedian, black actors are always, being asked to wear dresses. Have you ran into that? And what do you think about that whole Illuminati theory that people put out there about that?
Well, thanks for that softball question. It's two answers. First of all, let's be very, very clear. It is possible that there isn't anything funnier than a guy in a dress. And if that's the case, then it might also be said that there's nothing funnier than a black guy in a dress. Okay, well, I watched all of my friends throughout my entire life be able to dunk a basketball, but not me. So everybody can't do everything. So, some of us make choices. I think it's not a biggest choice for others. I'm saying at the end of the day, Kevin doesn't have to worry about what people are going to say about him wearing a dress because of the long line of dress-wearing people before him. So now we have Big Mama's house 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
I've never seen Medea in a pantsuit. I think she wears dresses. So now I'm saying, why are we picking on poor little Kevin Hart? Because it was his turn next.
Okay.
Some of us are against the Illuminati, and we are against the Illuminati at our own detriment. When people are against the Illuminati, then they get punched in the face all the time. The press hates them, and nobody likes them. End quote.
We all love Dave Chappelle.
Exactly. Dave Chappelle has never been a part of the Illuminati. They don't want him or me or people.
Cat says he learned firsthand that speaking out can bring years of backlash. In his view, once someone confronts powerful interests, the criticism doesn't simply disappear, it keeps coming. That's why he believes many celebrities choose to stay silent instead.
It's not necessary for us to stir up that hornet's nest unless we intend to get stung 1,000,000 times. I didn't understand that. They had to sting me 1,000,000 times. I'm still not going to join, but I respect it a little more.
All right. How do you handle that? Because they put your name in the press with a lot of rumors and a lot of situations that they try to put on Cat Williams. Do you feel ever the need to I gotta go defend this and put out a story about who I am, or do you just let that kind of like roll off your back when
Well,
people...
as you can see, I've let it all go for quite some time, and a lot of that is just based upon the fact that I don't really know how to complain because all of the people that I ever looked up to had to go through it too. So I know how much they talked about Martin Luther King, and I know what they end up doing to him. I know this same story about Jesus and a few of my uncles. So now I know that if your mouth is really, really big and you try to tell the truth for a living and you like to air people out, hatred is coming your way. I didn't know it was going to be this type of hatred, but you know, I'm concrete in all things because of He who strengthens me. So that doesn't mean I always make the right decisions, but I am going to stand by what I stand for. And I'm only continuing to do it because I was looking for somebody who was doing it instead of me. And I just must have missed them, you know what I mean? So at some point you have to figure out what example are you trying to be. If it's just gonna be you gonna make it and live happily ever after and go off into the sunset, then that's what that is. Otherwise, you're on the front line of this battle. And those of us who understand that this is a...
Kanye West has made similar claims, saying he faced attacks after speaking against powerful figures in Hollywood. His comments remain highly controversial, but together with Kat's remarks, they continue to fuel debate about what really happens behind the scenes in the entertainment industry.
This is all indoctrination. This is all mind control. You gotta understand, like I don't believe I'm putting myself at risk because I think God uses me for a time like this. He put me in this situation and had y'all follow me from George Bush Don't Care to Beyonce Had the Best Video to now. For some reason, y'all are interested. 2 Chainz said, YSL belt buckle. Well, y'all niggas shoulders looking. Like, y'all are interested for some reason. And they wanted to medicate me every day. You realize, like, they could have just switched to medication and I wouldn't be here. And on the news, they would have said it was because of a mental issue, right? Yeah. I ain't never been back to the hospital since 2015, but every time they say I'm crazy, it's just when I'm saying the truth. So what's the crazy part, really? What's the crazy part, really?
They can't scare you, they can't control you, they can't, they try to suppress you, but that's how they try to categorize
They
you.
can't control me. You get what I'm saying? They can control Shaq. They could control Charles Barkley. They could control LeBron James. They can control Jay-Z and Beyonce.
But not you, man.
But they can't control me.
Not
You see, it
you.
ain't no name I won't name.
Exactly.
It's up.
Not you.
You know what I'm saying? And just for Minister Farrakhan, I love you, but the way you read that, I took that as a slight. You know what I'm saying? I'm taking no disrespect from nobody, so let's get on the phone and let's talk that out. I don't care who you are. I ain't taking no slice from nobody, right? I ain't taking no slice from nobody. It's God. That's the only person that I serve. My mom ain't here. My mama was sacrificed.
Me too.
You understand?
Yeah, I'm Christian.
Michael Jordan, what about him? His daddy, right? Bill Cosby, his son, right? Dr. Dre, his son. You know, out in Hollywood, a lot of people come up missing. Feels like it might be a lot of that in order to control, traumatize. They want to monitor.
Whether Cuba Gooding Jr.'s downfall was caused by his own decisions, the allegations against him, industry politics, or some combination of all three remains a subject of debate. Omar Gooding believes his brother became a target, while others strongly disagree. In the end, the evidence leaves people reaching very different conclusions, and that's exactly why this story continues to spark discussion years later.